When my HOA president claimed my Tesla was community property and demanded my keys, I thought she was joking. But when she tried to unlock it with a fake authorization letter, I realized she'd gone completely power crazy. She called the cops on me, but didn't expect to leave in handcuffs herself. I bought my Tesla Model Y as a retirement gift to myself. After 30 years in the military as an electrical systems officer, I figured I'd earned the right to a smooth, quiet car that didn't smell like jet fuel. When I moved into Whispering Pines Estates, I thought I was settling into peaceful suburbia. Clean streets, quiet nights, and friendly neighbors, or so the brochure said, but I didn't know about her. Her name was Deborah Watkins, but everyone in the neighborhood called her Karen behind her back, the HOA president who treated the subdivision like her personal kingdom. You couldn't sneeze without a compliance notice showing up in your mailbox. I met her 2 days after I moved in. She showed up while I was parking the Tesla in my driveway, clipboard in hand, sunglasses on, and that familiar smirk. "Mr. Steele, welcome to Whispering Pines," she said, her tone dripping with false sweetness. "Beautiful car you've got there." "Thanks," I said. "Just got her last month." She walked around it like a hawk circling prey. I don't recall seeing a vehicle registration form from you," I frowned. "Registration form? For what?" "For the HOA, of course," she said matter-of-factly. "All vehicles must be registered under our community property system." "Community what?" "Community property system," she repeated. "It ensures fairness and order. The HOA retains oversight of shared assets, including vehicles parked on visible property." I laughed out loud. "Ma'am, this isn't a golf cart. It's my car, and it's not shared with anyone." Her smile tightened. "Rules are rules, Mr. Steele. If you park it here, it falls under HOA jurisdiction." I looked her dead in the eye. "It's registered with the DMV. That's the only registration that matters." She didn't like that. I could tell. Her eyes narrowed, and she scribbled something on her clipboard before storming off. The next morning, I got an email from the HOA. Notice of vehicle noncompliance. Your vehicle has not been properly registered with the HOA. Failure to comply may result in fines, immobilization, or confiscation under Article 5, Section 3, confiscation. That word made my jaw tighten. I replied immediately. "You try to touch my car, and I'll have you charged with trespassing and theft." I thought that would end it, but with HOA Karens, it never ends there. 3 days later, I came home from running errands to find Karen standing next to my Tesla, clipboard in one hand and a man in an orange safety vest beside her. "What's going on?" I demanded. She turned, smiling. "Oh, wonderful. You're just in time. We're repossessing this vehicle under HOA authority." I blinked. "You're what?" The man shrugged. "She said it was an HOA-owned car. I was told to tow it. That's my car," I snapped. "It's registered to me. I've got the title inside." Karen lifted a paper dramatically, an authorization letter with a big HOA logo at the top. "According to this document, this Tesla is listed under Community Maintenance Rotation for Electric Vehicles. It belongs to the Neighborhood Sustainability Program." I almost laughed. "You forged paperwork?" She gasped, feigning innocence. "Excuse me? I am the HOA president. I authorize everything." "Yeah," I said. "Including crimes, apparently." I stepped between her and the Tesla. "Touch it and you'll regret it." She whipped out her phone. "You're threatening an HOA official. I'm calling the police." "Good," I said. "Call them. Let's clear this up right now." She smirked. She thought the cops would take her side. She didn't realize she was about to walk straight into her own arrest. The police arrived 20 minutes later. 2 officers, both looking exhausted, probably from dealing with petty HOA disputes all week. Karen rushed toward them, waving her clipboard like a badge. "Officers, thank you for coming. I need this man removed. He's interfering with an HOA seizure order." The officers exchanged a look. "Ma'am, can you explain what's happening here?" She pointed at my Tesla. "That car belongs to the Whispering Pines community. He's refusing to surrender the keys." One of the officers turned to me. "Sir, is this your vehicle?" "Registered and titled in my name," I said calmly, holding out my registration and insurance papers. They examined them, nodded, then looked back at Karen. "Ma'am, this vehicle is registered to Mr. Steele." She blinked. No. That's irrelevant. It's part of our sustainability project. We manage community EVs." The officer sighed. Do you have ownership documents from Tesla or the DMV? Karen frowned. Of course not. Those don't reflect HOA designations. This is private governance. The second officer's eyebrow shot up. Private governance? Karen crossed her arms. We have authority over all assets in this neighborhood. If something benefits the community, it's under HOA control. That's the law, I smirked. Pretty sure that's not the law, Karen. She whipped around. Don't call me that! The first officer turned serious. Ma'am, unless you have legal proof of ownership, we're going to have to ask you to back away from the vehicle. Her face twisted in fury. You're all making a mistake. He's violating HOA policy, that Tesla was approved for community use. I decided to twist the knife. I opened my Tesla app, hit honk, and the car blared a long, loud beep that made her jump. See? I said. Still mine. The neighbors had started gathering by then, watching from driveways. Karen hated an audience, but she couldn't back down. She tried another tactic. Officers, this man is using forged documents. He stole the car from a member of our sustainability committee. I almost laughed. You mean the committee that doesn't exist? The officers looked increasingly irritated. Ma'am, you're accusing him of auto theft. That's a serious claim. Are you sure you want to go on record with that? Karen hesitated, then nodded. Absolutely. Arrest him. That was the final straw. The senior officer looked at her and said, All right, ma'am, step aside. We're going to run a quick VIN check. They did, right there in front of her. When the results popped up, the officer turned to her slowly. Registered owner, John Steele. VIN confirmed. No liens, no secondary titles, no HOA involvement. Karen tried to speak, but he raised a hand. Ma'am, you just filed a false report and attempted to seize private property under fraudulent documentation. Her mouth fell open. That's ridiculous. He pulled out his cuffs. I'm placing you under arrest for filing a false police report and attempted vehicle theft. The crowd gasped. Someone actually clapped. Karen went pale. You can't do this! I'm the HOA president. Ma'am, the officer said flatly, you're not above the law. They cuffed her right there on the curb, in front of everyone. As they led her to the cruiser, she twisted around and shouted, This isn't over! The HOA will hear about this. I called back, Oh, they definitely will. After the police left, the neighborhood erupted with gossip. Some people pretended they were shocked. Others laughed out loud. Most were just relieved someone had finally stood up to her. 2 days later, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. I went, mostly for entertainment. The room was packed. Angry homeowners, embarrassed board members, and one very red-faced vice president trying to keep order. He cleared his throat. Due to recent events, the HOA would like to clarify that Mrs. Watkins' actions were unauthorized. I raised a hand. You mean when she tried to steal my car? Murmurs rippled through the room. Yes, he admitted. That. I pulled out my phone and played the dash cam footage. Everything from her arguing with the officers to being cuffed and taken away. The room went dead silent. When it ended, someone in the back muttered, Good riddance. I turned to the board. So, are you still fining people for parking in their own driveways? The vice president shook his head quickly. No, sir. That policy has been suspended indefinitely. Good, I said. Because next time someone tries to take my car, I'll bring a lawyer instead of a cop. The meeting ended with Karen officially removed as HOA president, her membership revoked. She faced misdemeanor charges and a hefty fine. The new president, a soft-spoken retired engineer, came by later to apologize. We never wanted it to go that far. She had control issues. No hard feelings, I said. Just keep your rules off my driveway. He laughed nervously. Deal. In the weeks that followed, the neighborhood transformed. No more arbitrary fines. No more compliance notices for mailbox colors or lawn length. People started actually talking to each other instead of tattling through HOA emails. As for Karen, she moved out quietly after her court date. Rumor had it she tried to start another HOA in a nearby subdivision. They didn't let her. A few months later, I pulled into my driveway one sunny afternoon, Tesla gleaming in the light. My neighbor, Greg, waved from across the street. Hey, Steele! Still got your car, huh? I grinned. Still mine and always will be, he laughed. You're a legend around here, you know. The guy who got the HOA president arrested. Just doing my civic duty, I said, patting the car hood. Protect and serve, and drive electric. We both chuckled as I headed inside, the neighborhood peaceful again. Sometimes, standing your ground isn't about yelling or fighting. It's about knowing the rules better than the people who abuse them, and if you do it right, the only thing left for them to do is right away in cuffs.